Hi, this is Rick, Vintage Oddball Cards. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Well, today I'm talking Milwaukee Braves baseball. Yes, Milwaukee Braves baseball. And why am I talking Milwaukee Braves baseball? Well, I recently picked up a sweet Hank Aaron card. And I thought, I do have a few unique, I won't say oddball, unique Braves cards in my collection. And why don't we go over first off how they ended up in Milwaukee? Well, originally they were the Boston Braves, the Boston Bees, but in 1953 they moved from Boston to Milwaukee, and the reason they moved was low attendance, Red Sox being the king at that time. The owner Perini got a sweet deal with Milwaukee. There was a recently built, Milwaukee County Stadium was recently built. It was actually the first stadium to be built with lights. They also got a deal with Fred Miller of the Miller Beer Company for advertising. And so, heck, a stadium and a nice deal. And basically, they were the toast of the town when they moved. They were there from 53 to 65. And when they first arrived, I read that the players didn't have to pay for anything. They loved the team. They sold out the stadium. And many companies wanted to use the players for advertising their products. And I have 3 different examples of that. And we're going to start with the 1953 Spick and Span Dry Cleaning Company card here. And this is of the great Eddie Matthews here. This particular 53 card is pretty scarce, but it's just a great example of him, a young Eddie Matthews, one of the top 5 third basemen of all time. Really doesn't get enough credit for how good a player he was. He was actually the first player on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 1954. A sweet cover. He's at bat, and you can see he's at the stadium with the lights on. I would love that one day maybe to get that Sports Illustrated magazine, that first issue. But just a great player. And on the back here it says, after a tough game and a nice shower, Spick and Span shirt and slacks sure feel good. A lot of times these were actually taped to the garment bags when they returned to the customers. You see a little tape mark here and here. So Eddie Matthews. Now I also have a couple photos. The first one is this one here of Bobby Thompson, the sweet advertisement here, logo. And I also have the Eddie Matthews. And I kind of enjoy this one because it does have the tape here and the tape here, like I just mentioned, how they were given to the customers. And blank back here. There were 7 distinct sets. They advertised from 53 to 1960, postcards, cards, and photos. Now, the recently picked up card I'm going to show you is a 1960 Lake to Lake of Hank Aaron here. It's a dairy company in Wisconsin. And this particular card, man, the Hank Aaron's kind of tough to find. And how I got this card, I got it off eBay. And, as a lot of times when you put in a bid on eBay, a fair bid, what you want to pay for it. And then sometimes it just goes way over and you're kind of, man, how somebody's paying that kind of money for that particular card? Well, this was just the opposite. I put in a bid and it went like it went about $150 cheaper than what I thought it would go for, which was really surprising for this particular card. Just a great example. Now, Lake to Lake, how you would be able to get one of these cards is one way is a lot of times you're going to see staple marks here, and they were stapled actually to the milk carton. I've seen cards like that, but I see many that don't have the staple marks on them. And you would be able to turn in cards to receive prizes. And on the back here, it's going to explain to you that if you turned in 100 cards, you would get 2 tickets to a Braves game, 60 cards, an autographed ball, and so on. And how you would, you would send them into the company, and the company would return the cards to you. And it says here, here where you're going to pull a hole punch here. The company would put a hole punch and return it to you. And I've obviously seen cards with the hole punches. So kind of a very cool item here of the great Hank Aaron. And these were produced in Wisconsin. Now, the third one is not as scarce. The Johnston Cookie cards. I have a beautiful example of a 53 Johnston Cookies of Warren Spahn. I just showed you, the Hank Aaron. The top 3 players in Milwaukee Braves history have to be Hank Aaron, Warren Spahn, and Eddie Matthews. Johnston Cookies. You would be able to average, if you average, the players would receive $50 and all the cookies they can eat. I believe it was a 28 card set. They advertised in 50, their cards are 53, 54, and 55. The Johnston Cookie Company, the warehouse was right next to, the brick building was right next to the stadium. It's still standing now, the brick building. And now they're no longer in existence. They were sold to a different company. But on the back here, you're going to see kind of what it looks like. This particular card is definitely off center, but just a beautiful example of the great Warren Spahn, one of the great pitchers. Man, he pitched forever. So Warren Spahn. Now, I have a photo of the day. I didn't show a photo last time. I have a sweet photo and a ticket to go along with the photo. This is a Type 1 photo, 1941. It was a doubleheader game with the Athletics. And before the game, the Yankees unveiled the monument, the tablet of the great Lou Gehrig here. And next to Lou Gehrig's monument is Miller Huggins, one of the managers of the Yankees. And in this photo here, you're going to have McCarthy, the manager. You got his best friend, Bill Dickey, his roommate, his wife, and you have Connie Mack, because his Athletics were playing the Yankees at this particular time. So really cool to own this. On the back here, you're going to kind of see what I just basically told you. And I do have the ticket from that game and his memorial game. It's right here. It's definitely a beater, but heck, 1941 ticket. To get into the game, the grandstands, as you can see here, it was $1.10. And Lou Gehrig's one of my favorite players to collect. Lou Gehrig, man, Christy Mathewson, two great players, but two great players and people in baseball history. And in the back here, kind of see, tells you disclaimer, important notice that you see in tickets nowadays. So good stuff. Hey, thanks for watching. This is Rick, Vintage Oddball Cards. Bye.